Greetings! Mansory79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard D-Days! Alright, let's get started. Pressing the A button now. Loading game, and proceeding. Here we are on the main menu, going to edit deck menu, and now for today's video, the deck profile I'm making one for is a Keter Sanctuaries, Phantom Blaster Dragon, D-BT03. And for the base of this deck, I'm going to be using this D-BT02 Phantom Blaster Dragon deck. Alright, let's begin. So, going to edit deck menu. Here we are. And like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building in today's deck profile video is a Keter Sanctuaries Phantom Blaster Dragon deck composed of cards only available up until D-BT03. So, first let's go to filter settings, choosing pack. Show cards only from D-BT01, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT02, A Brush of the Legends, D-BT03, Advance of Intertwined Stars, and Fighters Festival Collection 2021. Apply filter. Okay. And now let's first start with the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 2 deck we're playing right deck, Grade 3, Phantom Blaster Dragon. Its skills are, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the Vanguard circle, choose a card with Blaster in its card name from your soul, and you may call it to Rearguard circle. And second skill, action, as a Vanguard, once per turn. Cost, counterblast 1 and retire 3 rear guards. If the cost been paid, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards and retire them. And then this unit gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical until the end of the turn. So for Phantom Blaster Dragon, he's one of the main Grade 3s around his deck. Its first skill, just by riding on top of your Vanguard, you can superior call any blaster from your soul to the rear guard. So giving you a possible rear guard to boost or attack with, or maybe even a potential cost rear guard to pay for Phantom Blaster's second skill. So for Phantom Blaster Dragon, you're playing 4 and putting 1 in the right deck. Next up, the Grade 3 Knight of War Damage Fasado. Its skills are, first skill, continuous as a rear guard. This unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. And second skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attack hits, counter charge 1 and soul charge 1. So for Fasado, he's one of a pretty good card to play in your Keter Sanctuary deck in pretty much any build. Just for the first skill, he cannot be chosen by any opponent's card effects, making it a kind of like a resist skill that protects him in your rear guard. Thus, it cannot be retired, returned to hand, or sent back to deck, or any specific card effect that targets your rear guard. And second skill, just by landing an attack on either your opponent's Vanguard or rear guard, you can counter charge 1 and soul charge 1, thus giving you refunds for your counter blasts used for other skills and more cards to pay for soul blasts with. So for Fasado, we're playing 3 of him. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2 of this deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 2, Blaster Dart. His first skills are, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle or Rearguard circle, cost, counterblast 1 and retire another rear guard. If the cost is paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And this unit gets drive plus 1 until the end of the turn. And second skill, continuous as a rear guard. During your turn, if your own rear guard is retired this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Blaster Dart, he's the main Grade 2 to ride this deck. His first skill, just by riding or calling him, you can pay a skill to retire an opponent's rear guard. And also, if you use the skill while your Vanguard's Blaster Dart, your Vanguard Blaster Dart will get an additional drive check, so giving you 2 drive checks to work with. And a second skill, as long as the rear guard is retired on your field during your turn, Blaster Dart can serve as a 15,000 point attacker all on its own, so this works well with Phantom Blaster Dragon's skill as well as Blaster Dart's own skill, since both skills require you to retire your own rear guard. Thus, you'll almost always be able to get this power up for Blaster Dart. So for Blaster Dart, you're playing 4 and putting 1 in the right deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Pentagruel Sorceress, not going to play this anymore, so taking 3 out. And the Grade 2 Darkness Maiden, Maka, her skill is auto. When placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard Blaster in its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. Then Soul Blast 1 and retire another rearguard. If the cost is paid, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Great 1 or less unit from among them and call it the rearguard circle, then shuffle your deck. So for Maka, she's more or less a support card for the Blaster series. Just by calling, and if your Vanguard's a Blaster, she gets plus 5,000 power, making her a 15,000 point attacker for your front row. And then if you have the cost to play for the Soul Blast 1 and retiring a rear guard your field, you can then search the top 5 cards of your deck for any Grade 1 and superior call, thus giving you a potential booster from the back row, or maybe even a cost to pay for Phantom Blaster Dragon's skill. So for Maka, we're playing taking 1 out, only playing 3 of her. Next up, the Grade 2 Knight of Severe Punishment, Geed. His skill is Auto. When this unit is retired from the rearguard circle for the cost of your card, look at top 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 blaster of its card name from among them, reveal it to you, and put it into your hand, and put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. Super Geed, he's another support card for the Blaster series. When retired from your rearguard for its skill cost, you can check the top 3 cards of your deck for any blaster and add to your hand. Silver Key is a good way to get another blaster to work with, maybe another Phantom Blaster Dragon to Persona right with, or Blaster Dart or Blaster Javelin to use to attack with or boost to the back row, or simply to add more cards in your hand to guard with later on. Silver Key, we're playing 4 of him. Next up, the Great One lineup. For the Great Ones of this deck, we're playing Ride Deck, Great One, Blaster Javelin. His skills are, first skill, Auto. When this unit is ridden upon by Blaster Dart, reveal the top card of your deck, call it to rearguard circle its rest if it is a unit card, and discard if it isn't. And second skill, continuous as a rearguard. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, this unit gets plus 2,000 power. So for Blaster Javelin, he's the main Great One to ride this deck. His first skill, just by riding Blaster Dart on top of him, you'll be able to superior call the top card of your deck as rest in the rearguard, thus giving you a cost to use for Blaster Dart skill. And the second skill, as long as your Vanguard's a Blaster, Blaster Javelin can serve as a 10,000 point attacker or 10,000 point booster from the back row. So for Javelin, we're playing 3 and 1 the right deck. Next up, the Great One, Wish of Pandering Bruner. Her skill, continuous as a rearguard. If you have a Vanguard Blaster in this card name, when this unit will be retired for your card's cost, it may be regarded as retiring 2 rearguards. So for Bruno, she's a support card for the Blaster series. Just by choosing her for a retire rearguard cost, she can count as 2 rearguards, making it a good way to conserve your field in hand for Phantom Blaster Dragon skill. So for Bruno, we're playing 4 of her. Next up, the Great One, Black Sage Karen. His skill is Auto. When placed in the rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard Blaster in its card name, rest this unit. If the cost is paid, look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a unit card, call it to rearguard circle. At the end of the turn, retire that called unit, put it at the top of your deck if you didn't call. So for Karen, it's another support card for the Blaster series. When placed on the rear guard and resting her, you can then check the top card of the deck. If it is a unit card, you can superior call it, but retire at the end of the turn. Or if you choose not to call, you can still put it in the top of your deck. So for Karen, she's a good way to give you the cost you need to play for Blaster Dart and Phantom Blaster Dragon skills, but also if you choose not to call, like for example, if you reveal a trigger by Karen's skill, you have the option of leaving it at the top of your deck. Thus, not only is Karen a good way to call more rear guards to pay for Blaster Dart and Phantom Blaster Dragon skill, but to also preview the top card of your deck to see if you might get a trigger or another card you should draw later when you drive check. So for Karen, we're playing 4 of her. Next up, the Great One, Aegismere Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. His skills are, first skill, Continuous, Sentinel, second skill, Auto. When this unit is put on the Guardian Circle, choose up your units, and it cannot be hit until the end of the battle. If your hand has 2 more cards, choose your card from your hand and discard it. So for Aegismere Dragon, he's a Perfect Guard for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, he features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with, if you discard a card from your hand, it can completely block an enemy attack, but he also features an ability unique to all D standard format Perfect Guards. When used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Aegismere Dragon a no-cost Perfect Guard for desperate last resort situations. So for Aegismere, we're playing 4 of it. Next up, the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s to this deck, we're playing Ride Deck, Grade 0, Full Bow. Its skill is Auto. When ridden upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Full Bow, he's the starting unit of this deck. Just by riding atop of him, if you went second, draw a card. So we've got 1 in the Ride Deck. And now for the trigger lineup. For the triggers to this deck, we're playing the Grade 0, White Fang Witch Disma, taking 4 out and replacing it with the Grade 0 Blade Feather Dragon, critical trigger. His skill, Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of your other units, and it gets plus 2,000 power until the end of the turn. Super Blade Feather Dragon is a pretty good critical trigger to have on your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks, just by boosting an attack, regardless if it hits or not. you'll be able to move Blade Feather from your rear guard to your soul, and then give any another unit on your field, like your Vanguard or rear guard, plus 2000 power. So for Blade Feather, it's a good way to restock your soul for later soul blast, for those who give a remaining attacker a little extra power to work with. So for Blade Feather, we're playing 4 of him. Next up, the Grade 0, Knight of Heavenly Hammer, Gurgit, critical trigger. We're playing 4 of him. The Grade 0, Exalting Knight, Ifrit, draw trigger. We're playing 3 of her. The Grade 0, Healer of Heavenly Staff, Archus, heal trigger. We're playing 4 of her. And last but not least, the Grade 0, Light Dragon, Deity of Honors, Amatonia, over trigger. Skill, trigger, additional effect. Until the end of the turn, you may also perform drive checks for the battles your rear guards attack. So for Amatonia, he's a over trigger for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, he features the same skill and activation. Just by revealing it during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card. But he also features a skill that's unique to him. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, for the rest of the turn, your rear guards in the front row can perform drive checks when attacking. So for Amatonia, he's a pretty powerful over trigger for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Just by revealing it in a drive check, your front row rear guards can perform drive checks, and the best part is, if you have grade 3s to attack with from your rear guard, they can perform twin drive instead. So it's a good way to increase your hand size and to also increase the chance of getting a trigger to power up and finish off your opponent with. So for Amatonia, playing 1, okay. And so the deck has been built, card effects explained, so saving the deck. Overwrite deck being built. Alright, the deck has been built, card effects explained. For the cards in this deck, we're playing 3, grade 3, negative 4 damage, Fasado. 4, grade 3, Phantom Blaster Dragon. 3, grade 2, Darkness Maiden, Maka. 4, grade 2, Blaster Dark. 4, grade 2, Knight of Severe Punishment, Yi. 4, grade 1, Aegis Mare Dragon. 4, grade 1, Wish of Pandering, Brunar. 3, grade 1, Blaster Javelin. 4, grade 1, Black Sage Karen. And 1, grade 0, Full Bow, starting unit. And for the triggers of this deck, we're playing 8 critical triggers, 3 draw triggers, 4 heal triggers, and 1 over trigger, Amatonia. Alright, deck built, card effects explained, so let's get on to testing out the deck. So leaving the edit deck menu, going back to main menu, heading over to fight menu, and CPU fight, choosing the deck I just built, Phantom Blaster, D-BT03, selecting an opponent. For the opponent I'm testing this deck out on is Yui Itabashi, normal difficulty. Alright, the battle begins, so let's get started. Now we decide who goes first, so rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors to scissors, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Again, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Again, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors to paper, I win, going first. So, drawing our starting hands, I return a over trigger and Aegis Mare. Redraw, not bad. Alright, going first, I draw. I'm going to ride for my right deck, Blaster Javelin. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding Blaster Dark. Right, end of turn, my opponent's turn. She rides the Grade 1, Lower Neural. Base skill, she draws a card. Okay. Now battle phase, Vanguard the Vanguard. Taking a hit, no guard. She drive checks. Oh no, not the over trigger, seriously? Not for the rest of the fight. All her rear guards will hit plus 10,000 power. No, alright, no trigger. Unbelievable, to get the first trigger that'll give her the advantage for the whole fight. Whatever, I'm gonna right Blaster Dart from my right deck. I discard from my hand. Knight of War damage Fasado is the right deck cost. Riding Blaster Dart. Javelin skill. I superior call the top card of my deck. It is a Blade Feather Dragon. Call. Blaster Dart skill. Counterblast 1. Retire Blade Feather. My Vanguard gets Twin Drive. Next up, I'm going to call Blaster Javelin and Blaster Dart to the rear guards. Okay, going to battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. Twin Drive, first check. Yes, draw trigger. I draw a card and give power to Blaster Dart. Second check. No trigger. Alright, here comes 1 damage. And slash. Damage check. Come on, not a draw trigger. Alright, boosted by Javelin. Blaster Dart attacks the Vanguard. 35k. The attack goes through. And slash. Damage check. No trigger. Okay. Then that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. She rides the Great 2, Lore Gnarl. Great 1 skill. She searches her deck for a Great 1 song. Adds a hand, Romantic Happiness, and she plays it. She plays another order card, Matter Red Runway, 2 orders, and calling a bunch of rear guards. The over trigger's effect is empowering them. Okay, not good for me. I guard if a critical trigger, 25k. Attack blocked. And now here comes an attack from the Vanguard, 15k. No guard took the hit. She drive checks. Ah, come on, a heal trigger? How lucky can she get? The whole fight, nothing but good triggers. Here comes 1 damage. Out. Damage check. No trigger. And now the rear guard attacks the Vanguard. No guard took the hit. And ow, damage check. Draw trigger, yes! I draw a card and power to my Vanguard. Alright, now it's my turn. I stand and draw. I'm going to ride from my right deck, Phantom Blaster Dragon. I discard a draw trigger as the right deck cost. Ride, Phantom Blaster Dragon. And then I'm activating Phantom Blaster skill. I'm going to call... I call... Let's see, what would be a good choice? I guess I'll call Blaster Javelin to the rear guard. Then I'm going to call Black Sage Karen to the rear guard. Karen's skill, rest himself. Look at the top card of my deck. It is a Fasado. I call Fasado to the rear guard. Okay, next up, I activate Phantom Blaster Dragon skill. Counterblast 1, retire 3 rear guards. I retire Karen, Fasado, and Blaster Javelin. Retiring 3 of my own rear guards. I retire 2 of my opponent's rear guards. I'm retiring... Okay, I'm retiring Esmeralda and Audrey. Retire. Power and critical to my Vanguard. Next up, I'm calling Guy to the rear guard. Okay, now beginning battle phase. Guy attacks the Vanguard, 10k. 1 damage, damage check. Ah, come on, heal trigger? Seriously? Unbelievable, the whole fight, nothing but lucky triggers for her. Vanguard, 23k, 2 criticals, twin drive, first check, no trigger. And second check, come on, something good. Yes, draw trigger. Draw card, power to Blaster Dart. Here comes 2 damage. Bam! First check. No trigger, perfect guard, nice. And second check. No trigger, alright. Now boosted by Javelin, Blaster Dart attacks the Vanguard, 35k. And, okay. Damage check. Yeah, she wasted a critical, so... Alright, trigger wasted. So now it's the end of my turn, my opponent's turn. She rides the grade 3, lower normal. Grade 2 skill, she searches the deck for an order. She adds Matter Red Runway, okay, and plays it in the order zone. Draws a card. Her Vanguard skill, she sings a song. The Grade 1 order, Romantic Happiness. She adds power and draws a card, alright. She calls a rear guard, LB, okay. Vanguard the Vanguard. Let's see, I'm going to Perfect Guard with Aegis Mare Dragon. I discard from my hand for the cost a draw trigger. Perfect Guard, she twin drives, first check. No trigger, lower neural, not good. She can Persona right next turn, second check. Matter Red one way, okay. Here it comes. The attack is blocked, and now the rear guard attacks the Vanguard, okay. No guard, take the hit. Here it comes. Ow! Damage check. Ah, over trigger, come on, and wasted my over trigger. And I drew a heal trigger, not good. Alright, effects added, and now the rear guard skill, she counter charges. Alright, it's my turn, I stand and draw. I'm going to Persona right. Phantom Blaster Dragon. Phantom Blaster skill, I Superior Call from my soul. I'm Superior Calling Blaster Dark to the rear guard. Blaster Dark skill. Wait, not gonna activate the skill, sorry. So I'm just gonna call, let's see, I call Bruner to the rear guard. Then activate Phantom Blaster skill. I counterblast 1, I retire Bruno, shoot its 2 rear guards, and Gi. There we go. Phantom Blaster skill. I retire 2 rear guards. I retire the Grade 3 LB, but LB protects the other rear guard, so I cannot retire the Harriet, so this retire 1. Power and critical added. Then activate Gi's skill. I look at the top 3 cards on my deck. Ah, criticals and perfect guard, come on! They all go to the bottom of the deck. Alright, then I move Blaster Dark to the front and call Karen to the rear guard. Wait, not gonna call yet, so just... Yep, just gonna call Karen to the rear guard over here. Then activate Karen's skill, rest, look at the top card of my deck. Blaster Dark, okay, not gonna call, leave it on top. Then going to battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 33k, she perfect guards. Alright, twin drive, Blaster Dark, and second check, come on, something good. Yeah, heal trigger. Cannot heal, but power to Blaster Dark on the right. And okay, the attack blocks. Next up, Blaster Dark on the right attacks the Vanguard, 35k. She double guards, 43k. Okay. And now Blaster Dark on the left attacks the Vanguard, 35k. She guards a perfect guard, nice. For the perfect guard cost, she discards a critical trigger, nice. Alright, so that's the end of my turn, my opponent's turn. She Persona rides, lower neural, okay. And now she's Vanguard skill, she's singing a song, adding 1 critical to her Vanguard. And now there are 2 face down songs, so I cannot use Sentinels to guard the Vanguard. Alright. Matter Red one way is played again, adds order zone, and she draws a card. Vanguard the Vanguard, 23k. Here it comes. She adds another critical to her Vanguard, and I cannot use Sentinels, alright. I double guard, with a heal and critical, 43, and gonna guard with a... Then I intercept the Blaster Dark in the front, 48k. Total 48k, no triggers to pass. She checks first, no trigger. And second check. Critical trigger, not good. She's adding all power to the rear guard. And the attack is blocked. Now there's just one more attack to work with. Okay, I'm gonna take the hit. 2 damage. And here it comes. Out. Damage check first. No trigger. And second check. No trigger. Okay. Skill rear guard. She counter charges. Alright, now it's my turn. I'm gonna stand and draw. I Persona Ride, Phantom Blaster Dragon. Phantom Blaster skill. I Superior Call a card from my soul. I'm Superior Calling Phantom Blaster to the rear guard. And now I call Gi to the rear guard. Then activate Phantom Blaster skill. I Counterblast 1, retire 3 rear guards. I retire Phantom Blaster, Karen, and Gi. Here it comes. I'm going to retire my own rear guards, retire one of my opponent's rear guards. I retire LV, power and critical added. And then I'm activating Gi's skill. I look at the top 3 cards on my deck. Come on, something good. Nothing. They go to the bottom of the deck. And next up, I call Black Sage Karen to the rear guard. Karen's skill, rest herself. Look at the top card of my deck. Pasado. Just gonna call it to rear guard, I guess. And I call Blaster Dart. Not gonna activate the skill, so go into battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 33k. She guards her whole hand, 48k. 2 to pass, first check. No trigger. And second check. No trigger, okay. Now Blaster Dark on the right attacks the Vanguard, 25k. She guards the hand, okay, 28k. And now Blaster Dark on the left, supported by Javelin, 35k to the Vanguard. Alright, here comes 1 damage, slash, damage check. No trigger, alright. 6 damage, I win. Well, that was stressful, okay. I got win, perfect guarded, drew 3 more times in a single row, then drew an over trigger, opponent drew an over trigger, did a Persona Ride, 8 turns passed, did a Superior Call, retired 5 more opposing units, I got 2800 BP, total 6400 BP, press A to go next. Alright, the deck is, so I pretty much finished testing out the deck in front of you, so let's leave the fight menu. Going back to main menu, and to edit deck menu, and so I built the deck, explained the card effects, test out the deck in front of you, so with that, that's about all the time we have for today. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. Also, you'll show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all.